Welcome back, everybody.
Hello.
This is Heather.
Ralph for Y'all Be Good, product of Little Line Cuts. We got some in-person intros this time. It's always fun with video content. So if you don't already, go to our YouTube channel and check it out on YouTube. We could use the views, even though we just hit 2,000 views of our content on YouTube. Yeah, so it's
Well, if
fun.
you watch this on YouTube and you come in, just go like this. Yeah. So we know you watched.
So we know that'll be the sign. We're doing the intro for Dead Set Inc.
Yeah, Ryan.
Ryan and Carrie. Unfortunately, Carrie wasn't able to join us.
No, the bees needed her.
They have bees. We talk a little bit about that.
Now all I can think of is that woman who saves the bees, and she's always like, another day of saving the bees.
I have come across, her voice is so
Soothing.
It's
like bees in the background.
Yep. That is not us. So
No.
if you come here for soothing voice, it's not this one. But Ryan, Dead Set Inc., he and Carrie Henkel, they own and operate Dead Set Inc.
Mm-hmm. I've gone there plenty of times.
Yes, you have. I have only gone to deliver food.
Yeah, he brought me Popeyes.
I did get some art from them, but it was in a baseball stadium parking lot.
Whenever you say that, I think about my dad saying, I broke someone's rib with my fist. It's like, it doesn't count if it's your own.
Yeah. But we get into that in the podcast. But yeah, very sweet man. Mm-hmm. Yeah, good guy. It was nice to hear about his childhood and his mom and
his journey into studio ownership.
Tattoo studio ownership, but also now he's tattooing as well. Mm-hmm. We kind of
now I want to get a tattoo from him.
I know, yeah.
Little Line Cuts tattoo.
Some Little Line Cuts ink.
Free haircuts for life if you get a Little Line Cuts tattoo.
Listen, we'll put it out there. You can have a free haircut for life if you get a Little Line Cuts tattoo. This might come back to bite us, but I'm all right with it.
Yeah, I mean, if someone's willing to put down the cash for it, we're not paying you to get the tattoo, but if you get the tattoo.
And it can't just be like, oh, this one is in remembrance of Little Line Cuts. No, it's got to be the logo.
Yeah, it has to be the logo with the words.
Yeah, yep. Little Line Cuts.
Whoop, whoop.
Anyway, enjoy.
Have fun.
Let's go. You guys have a lot of podcasts that you've done already.
Mm-hmm.
We just released 17. Matt will be, now we're 18, 19, 20, 21. In the next 2 days, we'll hit 21.
Wow. It's cool.
Ryan, thanks for making time, man.
My pleasure.
We've been wanting to have you guys on for a while. You and your beautiful wife, Carrie, you guys.
She's doing bees.
She's doing bees. You were just mentioning. So we have some actually locally sourced,
raw,
homegrown, raw honey.
It's Dead Set Honey.
Dead Set Honey.
Actually, our apiary is called Henkel Bee Honey because that's our last name. So, and my niece made this really cool logo with a bee, and then the right-hand side wing is an actual bee, like a bee, buzz, and then the letter B. It's a really cool logo. So we'll eventually start branding that.
I want a sticker so I can put it on my station.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Dude.
But my intentions were not to produce and sell honey. My intentions were to have a hobby that allowed me to relax, which is ironic, right? Because they're flying around stinging me.
Yeah.
And it's kind of turning into a little bit more than I had expected.
That's cool.
Yeah, I'm absolutely in love with beekeeping. It is relaxing, but it's
I don't know what they're called, but the little bee motel, right? Those little bee
the
things.
hives. Yep.
How many of those do you guys have?
Just 2.
Oh, wow. Okay. And it produces a good amount.
Yeah. I think this year 27 gallons is what I've produced.
27 gallons of honey?
Yes. It's a lot of honey.
In just 2 of those hives?
2 hives. But I have, so on the bottom portion of the hive is the nursery, I guess. Sure. That's where the queen stays. She does all her work, lays eggs. That's where all the new bees come from. I could talk about bees for days.
Sure.
And then on the top of that, you put an excluder. It's called an excluder. So it keeps her out of my honey boxes. And so each hive I have has 3 of those honey boxes on top. Each box has 10 frames, so 30 frames per hive. And then we cut the wax off, and then we extract the honey and bucket it, clean it, filter it. But I don't do anything but filter that through like sieves and cloth. So it's completely raw. I do nothing to it. It's
going to be good for our allergies.
Very good, especially now because allergies are out of control.
Dude.
My kids and I will definitely be microdosing this every day.
Every day in my coffee, teaspoon every single day.
Wow.
And I can't live without
thank you
it.
for this.
You're going to end up doing bees. I can see it now.
Dude,
I already see it. He's going to be coming to you. Hey, Ryan.
Yeah.
How do you do these
I want a
bees?
bee motel.
Well, and that's what my buddy did. He reached out to me in the spring and was like, I think I want to do bees. And I'm like, okay, you're funny. Like, you really don't want to. But he's like, no, seriously. And then we actually, a guy that's in my club, he was selling off his entire apiary. So he ended up buying 2 hives from him and has started the process of beekeeping as well.
I see them on Facebook Marketplace all the time.
Yeah, because they say the average span is about 3 years. People stay in the hobby, and then they just are like, "Oh, it's just too much for me, and I don't want to do this anymore." So they tend to sell off all their equipment, which is perfect for us because I know it's a very hot topic, but they say don't buy used equipment because you can bring in disease and all that stuff. But
interesting.
It gets you ahead of the game.
Sure.
You buy stuff that's already drawn out.
Yeah.
Because it takes them a long time to draw out that wax and actually make the little holes that they put all the honey in. And you can buy pre-drawn from people. Mm-hmm. And that's how I started, and that's how my buddy started. It just it puts you ahead of the game. So if you started off with everything brand new in the beginning of the year, you likely will not get honey until the following year because they have to spend that season drawing comb.
Sure.
And they spend most of their time drawing out the nurseries, and then they go up to the supers, and then they start to draw that so they can start storing their hard work, I guess I should say.
Oh.
They're beautiful.
And well, I guess we could talk about bees the entire time, but
yeah, I don't want to do that.
the honey bee is kind of the smaller bee that we see flying around, visiting flowers and that kind of thing. Well, those are honey bees.
Not all. There's, I think, 400 different species of pollinators.
Sheesh, okay.
And some of them do look like a honeybee. Mine are a little bit smaller. You've got the big bumblebees that fly around.
Yeah.
But ours are different. And interesting, an actual honeybee is not indigenous to the United States. They're indigenous to Europe. So my bees they're Italians.
You colonizers.
Yeah, I know, right? So mine are Italians. My buddy just
Did they go boopity boopity boop?
They're like, hey, listen here, stop taking my honey. And then my buddy got these bees called carny bees, which I've never had experience with, and I have been helping him on and off. And oh my word, they are completely different species. Mine are very calm, chill, which is ironic for an Italian bee, because they're usually very loud.
Yeah.
And they are just rowdy, and the stings that you get from them are wild. My bees sting me, it just aches a little bit. I pull the stinger out, it's perfectly fine. His bees, I could show you a photo. I got stung in his apiary about 3 weeks ago, and my hand blew up. Oh. And I couldn't even close it. And I got stung on my thumb. I couldn't even close my fist. When I was helping him install the hives, I got stung on my leg, and my leg got hard, like the tissue.
Wow.
I'm like, what is this?
Why did he choose carny beads? Because he's a carny?
No, that's a kind of a nickname for him. That's what was available.
Okay.
He didn't have I chose my bees because I buy my bees in the spring if I can't overwinter them. Mm-hmm. And I can choose. I can do Russian bees, carny bees. There's several different varieties, but I'm used to the Italians. They're very calm. My wife's Italian, so it all works out. Mm-hmm. And they make amazing honey.
So go with the Italian bees, everyone. That's
what I'm saying. Their sting's a lot less aggressive. Yeah. So.
Oh, that's so cool.
So I remember when we kind of met, you were bringing Finn in, and then we started talking a little bit about business ownership and how you were kind of jumping into Dead Set Inc., which is a local, are they called tattoo parlors still, establishment?
Well, I'm a little bougie. I call it a studio.
Okay, a tattoo studio. I love that.
They all call it a shop usually, but I call it a studio because it's an art studio. We create art, and that's what we do.
And I think our stories overlapped a little bit because kind of like you're tattooing now, right? But
Yes,
you did a bit of your time as an apprentice.
Correct.
But you started the shop or got into the shop without really knowing that side of things, right?
I read books, watched YouTube videos.
Yeah.
Kind of just familiarized myself with the process of it.
Yeah.
The tools that we use. Learned very early on, you never call it a gun, it's a machine. So like, just kind of educated myself from a distance.
Sure.
And then owning the studio, I spent hours and hours and hours watching the process.
Yeah.
And, you know, no matter how much you watched it, you still didn't understand it.
Yeah.
You didn't understand, you know, how to properly apply a tattoo. So during the pandemic, you know, all that. So I came back and I'm like, you know what? I really want to have a better feel of what my artists are doing to people. So I asked one of my artists to apprentice me, and he did. And it was about a year. And then, you know, kind of went off on my own, and now I'm just tattooing.
On your own?
Yep.
Are you doing that full time now?
No, still very, very much, you know, my brain is very business oriented. So I'm always concerned about greeting clients, answering the phone, messages. You know, I'm not one that likes to let those things sit. I like to make sure that that's all very well managed. So I tend to spend too much time in that realm. And when I'm tattooing, it's amazing because my brain just shuts off, and you kind of go into a different place. You know, you cut hair, you become a therapist. You talk to people.
Sure, yeah.
You get to know their story, and I love that piece of it. That's my absolute favorite piece of it. And then, of course, the tattoo when it's done.
Yep.
But it just, to me, it almost removes me too much from the business side.
Yeah.
And that's a challenge for me. I've tried to find a balance. It's not an easy thing to do.
Well, and as a leader, your job is to keep your artists going.
Yep.
So you could take everybody, but if you can find someone who you're like, oh, you want this style tattoo, you should go see Tyler.
100%.
You should go see Taylor. You should go see, I forgot the rest of them.
Someone else that starts with
Joey,
a
Nate.
T.
Yeah, a lot of T's.
No, but that's why I bring it up because, when I asked if you were doing it full time, but when we originally met, you had like a 9 to 5.
Was it during the pandemic?
You were working at Festival.
Yeah. So I opened Dead Set in 2017, and then 2020 showed up, and the riots came, and the pandemic, and all that fun stuff that made life amazing. So that's when I took the job at Festival because you know, Evers said every business has to shut down.
Yeah.
You went through it.
Oh, we know.
So I was like, oh no, I have to feed my family still.
Yeah.
And you know, how am I going to do that without having a job? Because as a business owner, we don't have the luxury of receiving payments, you know, and I wasn't really interested in that. I wanted to just take care of my family.
Sure.
So that's when I took the job at Festival, and I actually applied for a cart runner job. I said, you know what? I don't want to be around anybody. I don't want to get sick. I don't want to take this home to my family. I just want to get a paycheck so I can buy groceries. That's it. And a grocery store will never close. And they're like, yeah, okay, you're a business owner. I think you're a little overqualified for a cart runner. So they made me a shift manager, they call it. But and it just got me through. And I ended up being there. I was there for 2 years.
Yeah, I remember we talked about that.
I was just like, wow. And I went through a few changes there. I ended up being an assistant store manager. Then I went to maintenance, and you know, it was a good experience, but it's not where I wanted to be. It's not where my heart was. My heart was at the studio. But my wife had also been laid off from her job, and she was laid off for almost 2 years as well. So while she was laid off and getting unemployment, she was working at the studio, and then I was working at Festival. So we just had to do what we had to do to make ends meet.
Entrepreneurship is not for the weak, my friend.
That is my number one statement.
That is, yeah.
Everybody wants to be a business owner until they're the owner.
We kind of overlap a lot now that I kind of think about it. When we first opened Little Line Cuts, I was like, man, this is hard. This is tough. You know, I jumped into something that I have no idea what I'm doing.
You didn't watch the YouTube videos.
I didn't watch the
you didn't
YouTubes.
cut hair either, right?
I didn't cut hair. I didn't do any of that stuff. And I did learn, I guess my YouTube was being here. I was at the front desk. I was seeing the girls cut hair, and I feel like the the old '90s Ninja Turtle movie where Master Splinter is kind of doing his thing, but the little turtles are back there like, okay, this is how you do this, and it really kind of sparked something in my mind. I was thinking, okay, I think I could do this. I don't want it to sound disparaging, but in my head, I was like, yo, if they can do it, I can do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But during that time, I do remember it getting really tough. I applied at Costco for a seasonal position. It was probably the winter of 2018, 2019. Heather knows early on, I tried to sell this place off because the headaches were just too much.
Yeah.
I contacted her old employer and said, hey, do you guys want this ready to go turnkey business in Kenosha?
And they laughed.
And they did laugh. Luckily, they said no. And so I was like, all right, I'm going to hit but as a leader, as an entrepreneur, you do what you have to do. So I go over to, as a family person as well, I go over to Costco and I'm like, I need a job, I need to make ends meet. So I did not take the Costco job only because they kind of did the same thing to me where they're like, you're a business owner and you just want to be on the floor. Yeah. I don't want to
I don't want responsibility.
I don't want responsibility.
I don't want to make decisions.
Yeah.
I don't want to reprimand people.
I'll
That's
be the
what it-
best
I wanna
damn cart runner
clunk.
you've ever done.
And then
For
just
sure.
put away groceries and clunk.
And I'm a good
leave.
worker.
Yeah.
I'll do what I need to do.
Absolutely.
And their thing was like, no, I think we're going to get you into a different position. I was like, I don't have time for a different position because I still have this going.
Right.
And I really had a vision for this. And that I didn't take it, but that kind of sparked everything here. And then 2 years in, that's when we met you. 3 years in, that's when I met you. No, 5 years in.
I was going to say, because I didn't come until after lockdown.
Yeah, after lockdown.
I think it was 2021 or 2.
Sure. But I've said it time and time again. Like when Heather came, she really brought a lot of that expertise in how to do the kids salon thing, because that's what she was born into the fire. I just kind of jump in every once in a while.
No, it's like Bane. I was born into the darkness.
She was born in it. I simply adopted it. But when she came on, we really did start jumping and leaping, and we are what we are now thanks to Miss Heather over here. Don't get a big head about it, but
She already knows.
she does know. She does know. But that's kind of why I wanted to sit down with you guys, because it was such a cool thing. And Heather has visited your establishment. I visited your establishment not to get art, but to visit.
But
and
you've got a tattoo.
Oh, I have gotten a tattoo from you
Yes.
guys.
We just talked about
I saw it. I saw it poking up.
Yeah. My go-to joke is like, I got a tattoo in the parking lot of a B grade baseball team.
Yes. Those. Oh my gosh, that was so much fun. I love doing those events. Those are a blast.
It was a good time.
Yeah, those are fun, and it's amazing to me how many people will sign up for it.
Well, that was the first thing you guys did together after I got here.
Yeah.
You guys went to that baseball game and you invited me, and I was like, no.
I don't like you people
And
that
then if I
much.
would have known that you guys were there, I would have been there.
Yeah, we were set up in the back there. It was. Were we in the front that time, or was that in the back?
It was in the parking lot over to the side, so it was probably the front.
By concession.
No.
Okay, so yeah, the first year we did it by concession. That was chaos.
Okay.
The second year we did it, it was over in that kind of exclusive area, which didn't work out so well for some people because you had to pay extra to get back there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we were like, how are we going to do this? If
Then no.
people have to, we talked to them and we're like, if people have to buy an exclusive ticket to get back into that area, why are we back here?
Sure.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
yeah, that was a fun time though. I love doing those events.
Do you
And-
guys still do them?
No, so we used to do those through Safe Harbor when it was
sure.
Safe Harbor, and then once they transitioned over to the Humane Society of Wisconsin, Humane, it all changed.
They're more big corporate now.
Yeah,
I got you.
Yep. Now they just want money. Now they're just like, yeah, just give us some money.
I feel that.
And I'm like, no. We want to raise money.
Sure, yeah.
We want to raise awareness. We're not just trying to,
Yeah.
give you a donation. We're trying to help people know who you are.
Exactly. Yeah.
And through that, I remember one time I think I was in Mexico and they texted me and they said, is there any way, we're out of cat food and blankets. Is there any way you can put a post up and see if we can get any donations? And I'm like, absolutely. I'm in Mexico, enjoying myself on the beach and made a post, and they got tons of donations.
That's great.
But that to me is awareness. You're creating awareness.
Sure.
You're not just getting a donation.
Yeah.
And it makes people aware that they need these things. So,
Yeah.
and that's the reason why we do it.
And that's the beauty of small business too, especially in communities. I feel like we're kind of in that boat as well. I think Kenosha does do a good job at recognizing the small business community.
Yep.
They like to keep it local. They like to, sure, we have big box stores like any other place, but there's a beautiful side of that where if there is a need, if something comes up, social media kind of plays its role, and we're able to kind of meet that need.
Not only that, I believe that the community itself likes to support those types of things.
Exactly.
We also do a toy drive every year. And, unfortunately, you've got to give to get, right? So I don't like that piece of it. I want people to just donate.
I get it.
It shouldn't cost us a dime, but it costs us a lot of money because we give away Packer tickets every year, and we give away pretty decent prizes, all day sits with our tattoo artists, and we have to give, but it incents people to donate. And man, it's just so. When I first started doing it, we were out in off of Burlington Road in Summers. That's where our original studio was. Eminent domain with Foxconn, we lost that spot, so we had it's not been an easy road for me by any means. But we started doing it our first year out there. So I was like, this is fun. I love this. And I'm like, I can't stop doing this. This is what makes me happy. This is one time a year. It's just like amazing. And it ended up growing to be so large, our toy drive, that the company we donate to, or the organization we donate to, is called Goodfellows. And they're here in Kenosha. They've been around since like the 30s. They've been around forever.
Wow.
And they actually approached me to be a board member. And they were like, we want you on our board because you make such an impact.
Sure.
Because the money that they get donated through different channels, they're buying old toys from last year. So they don't have anything that's relevant.
Sure.
And so they're like, you supplement all of that. You make that difference, So these kids can come in and they're not just getting something from that, they're getting current toys.
Yes.
Yeah.
And every year it just gets bigger and bigger. And I have friends who own a large bus, and it's a Packer bus.
Oh,
Cool. It says Packer backer all over it. It's green and gold, and it's just obnoxious. And I borrow that van every year. It's a big bus. I borrow that bus every year, and the theme is Pack the Packer Bus. And it's just
that's killer, man.
And I don't even like sports.
That's kind of how it goes.
Yeah, but it's the drive, and again, it's the incentive. If you can incent people, they're going to donate.
Well, and you're collecting a variety of people. Then you've got your sports people who sometimes get sports tattoos.
Yep.
And then you've got the freaks and geeks.
Yep.
And you've got it's like Ferris Bueller. When it's like you got the freaks, you got the geeks, you got the nerds, you got
all of
the
it.
jocks.
The jocks.
We've got it all.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah, I love it. And so, like you said, that's one of the real big benefits of being a business owner is you can do those things for your community. Mm-hmm. And fortunately, we've been in a position, year over year that we can do these things.
That's great.
And now we've actually got somebody that donates the tickets to us, so it's getting better. Hartnell Chevrolet here in town. Again, all local. They get promoted, so I just love it.
That's
awesome. I love it. I'm actually really looking forward to it this year.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. How is this your first business endeavor? Like this is the first thing you've ever done?
No, not really. I'm kind of like you. I'm always trying something
different.
The one other business that I really enjoyed, and it was a weird one because I was doing it while I was working a full-time job. So I'd go on lunch break, and it was called Canine Prize Patrol. And it was a poop scoop business.
Okay.
So I would go to people's homes and scoop their dog poop up.
Yeah.
And
During your lunch.
During my lunch break. So and every Saturday, Sunday, that's all I did was just drive around picking up dog poop, and it actually did very well.
Well, yeah, because no one wants to actually do it.
Yeah, no, they don't, unfortunately, and it's kind of weird to me. And my slogan was, do you want to play in your toilet? Like, let these dogs have a spot.
Yeah.
So, I'll come clean it up, and they have their backyard. They can still use it for their toilet, but you flush yours. Let me flush it for you. So It was, it was, I think I did that for about 2 years and then I just was like, all right, I'm done dealing with poop. But yeah, that was fun. And I've had other small things that I've done, but nothing with any relevance. But
That's cool.
this is my big dog. Like this is my baby.
Yeah.
Dead Set. So Dead Set's been my everything. So
Yeah. That's awesome, man.
yeah.
How many artists do you have right now?
Well, I had 9, but I have 8 now.
I know.
We just lost one, unfortunately.
I gotcha.
Our beautiful Taylor, unfortunately, she is, well, fortunately for her, she's opening her own shop and she's going to do amazingly well. But currently we have 8 artists and
Wow.
a piercer as well. And then we also do laser removal.
Yeah. And she
that's
does
right.
facials too with that thing.
Yep.
Wow.
It's called a carbon peel, yeah. We put some carbon on your face and we zap your face.
I had it done.
Hurt. It doesn't hurt.
No, well, the only thing was it hit the nose ring.
Oh,
I have a nose ring on this side, and it, like, she said it's just gonna, like, it goes, and then here it goes.
really?
Yeah. It didn't hurt. It was just like, whoa.
Yeah, Carrie says the tip of the nose is a little stingy, but other than that,
yeah.
I haven't done it because of the facial hair. I just decided not to.
Sure.
And I like bad skin anyway, you know?
Right. Yeah. It gives you the rugged look, right?
Yeah.
You can't be a business owner and look the part, too.
Right. You can't look healthy. You got to look wore out. You got to come in with the bags.
I feel that. It's funny because growing up as I'm a pastor's kid, kind of conservative growing up. When I think of a tattoo place, or I think of the stigma that comes along with it.
Yep.
And I think one of the questions that I've kind of been playing around with for you guys is like, have we seen a shift in society where tattoos are a little bit more acceptable or a little bit more the norm now?
A lot more acceptable. I remember, so I just did a ride around Lake Michigan. A couple friends and I we rode our motorcycles around the lake. And when we were up in the northern part of Michigan, people were staring at us. Like there was a woman that came up to Jordan, Jordan, and she's like, "You're not from around here." And he's like, "No." She's like, "You know how I can tell? You have nice tattoos. Nobody around here." And then she sat there and stared at us until we left. And I'm like, this is weird. But I feel like that's how it used to be. It used to be you'd see, so a lady said to Tyler, she's like, "You have a tattoo on your face." She's like, "I've never," and it's just, there's a little bit of shock value there.
Sure.
And I feel like that's how it used to be. But I think that where we live, especially, we live between these 2 major cities. There's a lot different
kind of
type of culture,
Sure.
And I definitely think it used to be very taboo and people looked at you as like a dirty person or you're a felon or a criminal, but
Sure.
it's not like that anymore.
Yeah. Now you're a chef.
Yeah, we're chef of tattoos. We had a lady come in the other day. I think she's probably in her 60s, late 60s, early 70s, looking to get her second tattoo ever, and it was for her grandkids. But we're seeing more and more of that. We're seeing more and more older people getting them done, for the first time, and I love that. And tattoos to me, are an expression of your inner personality.
Yeah,
and it's my art, and it's how I feel.
Sure.
And a lot of them have stories, but some of them are just because I was bored and
Yes.
like, hey, let's do this. Like this avocado lady. I have my the upside down lighthouse, which a lot of people have now.
Oh, cool. Okay.
I did it upside down just because why do it right side up? And just weird stuff. I've got a poop emoji on the back of my. So it just it's just my goofy inner personality.
You're an artist. Like
Yeah.
in high school, all of my pants were drawn on. All my Converse were drawn on. Like nothing was left untouched.
Right.
Tattoos were taboo in our house.
Yes.
So
See, I didn't grow up like that. My parents were like, be who you are, express yourself. And my mom especially, my dad wasn't really, he was just a grumpy old carpenter. But my mom was always, pushed us to be who we are. She's like, do you want to go get your ears pierced? I'm like,
Okay.
And I was like 7 years old. I'm like, yeah, let's go do that. I said, but I think I can only do the left side, Mom. All the kids say you can only do the left side. She's like, you can do whatever you want. But I only did the one side.
Sure.
And, she would let me buy these crazy earrings. And I would just walk around with dangly earrings hanging out of one side of my face. And, my dad didn't really appreciate it too much. But my mom was like, be you.
What was her story? Was she a bit of a hippie? Was she just kind of a free spirit?
My mom has an interesting story. She's passed. But,
I'm sorry.
She grew up in a very religious home.
Okay.
Extremely religious. My grandmother was trying to push my mom into being a nun. Like,
wow.
She was this close to being a nun. But interestingly enough, my mom knew at a very young age that she was lesbian. So she's just like, this isn't for me. And I don't think that would be healthy for me. And, the church kind of really did damage to her. So she didn't want us to be in that same situation. She wanted us to just be who we were. She didn't want to force us. I remember when we were kids, we would go to church, and my mom asked me one day, she's like, do you want to go to church anymore? And I said, absolutely not. I hate that place. It's boring.
Sure.
I got to go in separate from you because we would do Bible study. And I'm like, I just don't, it wasn't my thing.
Yeah.
She's like, then we won't go. And I was like, fantastic. Let's do this.
Yeah.
So she was just always very supportive of us being ourselves. And I think that's kind of molded me into who I am today. And I do the same thing with Finn. Like he comes in, when he came in here, he'd get hearts and you'd color on. And I love that. And that was something he really enjoyed because he was expressing who he is on the inside. Yeah. I remember one time he used to wear dresses when he was a little boy and never bothered me. I was like, whatever, and I didn't want to go out into public with that situation, but he would argue and I'd be like, you know what, whatever, wear your dress. Let's go to Sam's Club in your dress. But people made comments.
Sure.
Mind-blowingly enough, people, oh, you have a cute daughter. I'm like, that's my son. And oh my gosh, your son's in a dress. I'm like, yeah, he's in a dress.
He wanted to wear it.
And you want me to take him out of the cart so he can do a twirl? Because he loves to twirl.
Yeah.
And I think I got that from my mother. My mother was very open for us to be who we were because she was stifled as a young child and told those things were wrong. And, my grandmother was just not a good person. And she just would force my mom to do things she didn't want to do. And, to me, that's a good parent. She broke that mold. Yeah. And she didn't put that on us.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, my favorite thing about Finn is, he's sitting there playing Fortnite, annihilating people. And he's like, can you put a heart right back here?
Yep. And I'll do a twirl on the way out the door. He's a beautiful boy. I love that kid so much. And I just love who he is. Mm-hmm. He's changing directions now. He's into Marvel and Spider-Man. He's definitely changing directions, but whatever you want, buddy. But that's
the thing is, boys and girls should be allowed to explore all their interests. Yep. My friend's son was obsessed with Disney movies, and called me his princess. And then at the same time, he was pretending to be Batman and Spider-Man.
Right.
So it's just he has a wide range of interests, and I feel like that makes them more emotionally mature.
Yeah, I agree.
And they're having fun.
And I think you're molding a better human.
Yes.
And that's why when I think of my mom, I'm like, she never forced me to do anything. That was healthy, I should say. There's things I did as a young child, lighting fires and stuff like that, where she wasn't really okay with that. But, sure. As far as my expression, who I wanted to be, she was just always very supportive. She would push me in those directions.
Yeah.
And just do that. And, unfortunately, my mom had passed, before I opened up the studio, but I know that she would just be
covered in tattoos.
All right, stop.
Oh, man.
I get a little emotional about my mom. She would just be proud.
Yeah.
So,
I'm
very,
sure.
very proud. So,
well, you know what it sounds like, and from the little that I've gotten to know you and over the years now, she did a good job, man.
She did. Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that.
She was a good mama.
You have siblings?
Yeah, I have two brothers.
Two brothers.
And then a couple stepbrothers. But yeah, I have an older brother and a younger brother. I'm in the middle. My older brother's actually at the house right now doing my honey.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
you
yeah.
said.
And my best friend, I'm like, hey guys, I'll be back. I got to go do this podcast.
I'm going to go sit comfortably.
Yeah, and some air conditioning while you guys are sweating, uncapping honey, But Jay, he's new at it, so he really wants to see the process. And Billy has helped me on previous harvests. So, he's kind of the boss right now until I get back.
Sure. How's Carrie feel about your endeavors? She's always been ready to rock.
Oddly, very supportive.
Cool.
And, I just did this ride around the lake, and I just come home and I'm just so thankful for her because she always isn't. She's like, yeah, babe, go do it. Because a new thing I'm doing. So that's where I think our similarities come into play. We're just always doing something. We're always finding a new hobby, always finding a new thing that makes us happy. And I started buying and selling cars.
Oh,
just
cool.
on the side. I bought a couple auction cars. It's not going the greatest because I like the cars I buy.
Oh, dude.
I've got this beautiful.
Don't get high on your supply,
I'm
man.
saying I've got this beautiful Buick Riviera sitting in my driveway right now. And I told Carrie, I said, I want to just drive this car for a month. I think I bought it in May or June.
Oh.
I still have it.
Yeah.
I drove it yesterday to work. So, that one, I was telling my stepson, I was like, the problem with this is when you want to do something that is like a passion, it's fun. It makes the process a lot more enjoyable.
Sure.
But you don't want to get rid of it.
You don't want to,
it's
you don't want to stop it.
I'm like, oh my God, I don't know how to, so I've got to sell this Buick, but it's just, I love the car. It's so clean. It's from 85. It's just beautiful. And it reminds me of being a child, riding around in these cars. Cause when I was like 12, this car was sold and I'm like, this thing is so cool. It's got all these little features that I remember as a kid, and so
that's cool.
So anyway, Carrie's just always very, 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 very supportive in everything I do. She is an amazing human being, and no matter what, So with Dead Set, I worked for I won't tell who they were, but I worked for a large corporation, and I did sales, and my specialty was promotional marketing. Spent many, many years in that space. Printing and just selling branded apparel and bags and just everything for large corporations, large pharmaceutical companies. And I got a job with this large corporate company, and my job was just the promotional side because there was only like 5 people in the whole company worldwide or US wide that did what I did. And so it was kind of a specialty niche. So I would go to all these meetings with my general line people and talk. And I was in this meeting one time with a big credit union, and I was at this table from here to the window, and there was like 20 people in this meeting. And I'm like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
I hate this.
Yeah.
I'm selling promotional, which I absolutely adore. It's one of my passions, but I hate this.
Yeah.
This is not me. And I'm in this meeting, and they're like, oh, everybody go around the table. Tell us about what your specialty is and what you can bring to the table for this credit union. And I sold them what they wanted to hear.
Yeah.
But I was like, I hate this. And like, it just became, it took me over this hatred. And I'm like, I left that meeting, and I then had to go to another meeting for lunch. You talk about the meeting at the meeting. It's just another meeting to talk about that meeting. It's just, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. So I called Carrie on the way to this lunch meeting, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. I need to find something else that's mine. Mm-hmm. Like I don't want to do this corporate mumbo jumbo anymore. And she's like, okay, what do you want to do? And I'm like, well, I love tattoos. So I either want to open up a tattoo shop or I want to open a bar. And she's like, no bars.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah, tattoo shop sounds cool.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay. And the interesting thing about Carrie is, I hope her ex-husband doesn't hear this, but like, he was not supportive of her getting tattooed. Just, there's that stigma. He was raised that way, and that's perfectly fine, but he was not supportive of it. So when she met me, I was like, get as many as you want. Like, I love tattoos. I think they're beautiful, and I was getting them here and there, but I was like, I just love this. So she's like, absolutely. Let's see what it's about.
Yeah.
And I remember buying a book on Amazon, and we went on a cruise ship, and I spent the entire cruise just reading this book. Cool. And I'm like, this is so cool. Like, this is definitely what I want to do. So then I just started putting the pieces together, and she just, while I still had this corporate job, of course, because I had to have a paycheck.
You got to do it.
And then my manager caught wind of what I was doing, and they're like, yeah, we gotta separate because we just don't think you're giving us 100% anymore.
Sure.
And I'm like, I'm still the top salesman
Yeah.
in this space. Like I was making so much money off of bonuses because nobody could touch me.
Yeah.
And I was like, what are you talking about? My sales are up year over year, month over, like what do you, and they're like, yeah, you can't run a business and do this. I'm like, wow, I've been doing that for maybe 8 months now.
Sure.
So I don't know what you're talking about. It's clearly doable, but they're like, well, we're just going to ask you to politely walk away.
Sure.
So, and I was like, no problem. Like,
This is the sign.
It was like I had 1,000 pounds of weight just lifted off my shoulders. I'm like, you guys just did the heavy lifting for me, and thank you.
Sure.
And I did not look back.
Yeah.
So, and it was was a scary process,
Yeah.
as you know, in the beginning, because we had a small space. It was, I think that spot was 1,000 square feet. And I just didn't know what I was doing. And, I was like, I'd never really run a business like that before. I had artists that were like, I'm on board with you, man. Let's do this. Because, I didn't want to have that dingy shop. I didn't want people to walk in and hear death metal and skulls all over the walls. I researched spas and the smells of spas. And when we first opened, my whole place smelled like a spa. I just wanted people to come in, because when you look at the numbers, I'd say 70 or 80% of our clientele are female. So why do we
want
have
them to feel
heavy metal playing
good and safe?
Exactly. And not like they're going to be proud. Because this industry also has a lot of really nasty people in it still today. And I wanted the complete opposite of that. I wanted people like Heather to walk in and feel comfortable and feel welcomed. Like we weren't going to treat you like a piece of meat. We wanted you to feel like that experience was positive from start to finish. And that's why we have 5 stars. That's why we have repeat clients. That's why we have word of mouth,
Sure.
So,
man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of carryover for us here too. When I visited some other kids salons, that was my main thing. I don't want checkered floors in here. I don't want green walls. Well, that one's kind of turquoise back there, but I didn't want toys everywhere. Like I wanted it to feel a little above that. Right. I wanted us to have, because I'm not appealing to children. Yes, we do cater to children, but I'm appealing to the parent.
Right.
If the parent feels good, if we're in a decent location, like we get a lot of moms who bring their kids. I don't want them to feel like the location is tough to get to or scary in. So there was a lot of that we played around with.
I mean, the number one complaint that we had in reviews, like we could have a 5-star or 4-star review from my other place. And the biggest complaint was every time I go in there, I have to drag my kid out crying because he wants a toy.
Right.
And I have to say no.
That's tough.
And it is.
It ruins the experience,
It
honestly,
does.
for the parent, because we all know a screaming kid is a terrible thing. That's not it's embarrassing too for the parents. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. I think atmosphere is huge.
Atmosphere is huge.
And, unfortunately, I think that some people get stuck in their own ego. And, that's one area that I was just like, this isn't, if my personality was in there, there would be Harley Davidsons in the lobby. You know what I mean? It would be more fitting to my person, but it's not.
Yeah.
But it makes me feel good walking in every day, and if I walk in and feel good, so will you, and it's the same thing here. It's exactly the same thing.
That's huge, man. When you left, because we're kind of in that transition right now, we're looking into maybe in the next year, we have to get out of this place. Like, not that we have to, it's just we're outgrowing it.
That's fantastic. It's a good problem to have.
It is a good problem to have.
But scary.
It is very scary, man.
It is.
Because I'll tell you this, and I've kind of mentioned this to Heather, at least up until now, we've been able to do this with no loans. Mm-hmm. We don't owe anybody anything.
I'm the exact same way.
What comes into this place, it goes out. But into the new place, that is where it's going to be like, all right, let's find like a small business loan. Let's make it what we want, right? The next place is going to be what we really want to see. Because this place was just kind of thrown together. This was like a weird finance office or something.
Well, and I feel like too, you set it up one way, but then you had to adapt. So you're like,
we've adapted
out of the wall.
a couple of times. There's a scar on the floor.
There used to be a little half wall there.
Play area over there. If I'd have thought about it, I wouldn't have built in those walls, because now I can't get rid of it and I need that space, right?
I feel like that is a good wall to have. It blocks some of the wind.
It does, yeah. But anyway, so now looking into the new space, it does get a little bit scary, because now it's like a for real thing, right? Like now there's like real skin in the game. Now there's like
it's
until
like adulting.
It feels like I gotta grow up.
Thing.
Yeah,
you're now turning 18.
Yeah, it feels like I gotta grow up a little bit. But it's been exciting. It's been exciting to see. And I will say that about your space. It's very comfortable. I like the atmosphere there. It doesn't feel like your traditional, like old stuffy.
Well,
dirty
not,
dirty
I was gonna
place.
say not stuffy, more like you don't know when the last time the floors were washed, even though they're supposed to be,
Right.
cleaned. The guys aren't in the back. Like I've literally walked into a shop where the guys came out the back and they're like,
Yeah.
and I'm like,
No.
and I wasn't getting the tattoo because I was a good little girl. But my friend was, and I was like, "Are you sure?" Because I think they're both stoned, really stoned.
And that's a real common thing in the industry. And I think that's where, I'm very strict in a way. I'm flexible, but I'm also strict. I don't like shenanigans. And they know that, and they'll push my buttons every once in a while, what have you. But
I've
I
seen
think
them. They're all a bunch of kids.
Yep. But it's also, I feel like that type of behavior is inappropriate when you're asking somebody to brand you for life, and just have respect for that process. And that's always been my talk track, just be respectful to the process.
Yeah.
And, we are so close to it that, we're just a little more jaded to it. We're like, whatever,
Yeah.
but when you have that 70-year-old woman getting her grandson's, piece on her so that she can think of her grandkid every time she sees it, respect that. And that's a beautiful thing. She's asking us to give her something that is just, permanent, and it's never going to come out.
Especially when she's 70 and she's probably been thinking about something like this for her whole life. Like
ever since her grandkids were born. But I agree. It's something that she's finally said, okay, I'm going to do this, and came into our space to offer us the ability to do that. And to me, that's a very special thing, and that's one of the things that I was very hesitant about tattooing, because I'm like, that's a lot of responsibility. And my wife was my first victim, and it came out really well. And I'm like, oh, look at that, I can do this. There's no eraser on the top of my machine, so I can't just and when you're learning, you make mistakes and all that. But it's just, to me, it's a very personal thing. And when people ask us to do that, we need to respect that. So I don't think that's a good positive experience when people see stuff like that.
Oh, 100%.
So
no, it's a funny story for later, but it's
of course,
you're crazy.
Yeah, and I just don't understand why they think it's okay. It makes no sense to me.
Yeah. We feel that here. We're irreverent with a lot of things, but I think the client experience has to be at a certain level, right? Yep. There's got to be a bit of a standard. Unfortunately, I do blur that line a little bit, maybe more than a little bit.
Could you elaborate on that? What do you mean by that?
I've been calling our patrons racist lately,
but not outright.
Okay, so let me set this up for you. We have the little kid cars. Maybe we're doing a first haircut or something, and we have a lot of Anglo-Saxon white folk that come to see us. Beautiful, I love it. So the kid starts kind of screaming and pulling away from me because I'm coming at them with like clippers and stuff,
sharp items.
Yeah, and
to diffuse the situation.
To diffuse the situation, I usually look at the kid and I'm like, man, your parents need more brown friends, like that kind of thing. It's always gone over very, very well because they kind of say so far.
That's a smidge risky.
It is risky, but you know what? We actually had a podcast with he's Coach Dex over at Carthage, and he was telling us a little bit about his experience. And then his first time, he was like, "Oh, okay." And then the second time, he figured out that I was the owner, and he was like, who's this guy talking like this? Like, why is he saying these things? But that's the line that I kind of blur. But also to kind of diffuse the situation, like that was well put. We do have a lot of families that come in here and they feel maybe a bit embarrassed that their kid is crying or screaming. Yep. Maybe they feel overwhelmed at the situation. But for us, it's like, this is what we do all day,
this
guys.
is your job.
Let us help.
Well, yeah, sometimes when they, like, especially when they start crying, they're like, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm like, this is what we do.
Sure.
But I also say, if your kid didn't cry, I wouldn't have a job.
Exactly.
Right. But it's, as a parent, it's hard to see that, you know,
Yeah.
and I get that even though you're saying it's okay.
Yeah.
You know, like when we have people pass out during a procedure.
geez.
They wake up, we're like, it's okay. It's okay. And they're like, no, it's not. I'm so, oh my
Yes.
gosh. Like, you know,
I threw up at your shop.
did you really?
Yeah.
How come I've never heard of this?
Oh, we got to hear the story.
Oh.
See, Taylor's so sweet.
She's so embarrassed.
She never told me this.
Yeah, she so I'm that person that you can practice on because I don't care. Like, I appreciate art in all its forms, and I believe that you should always practice on, like, people like me. No, I'm just kidding. So someone who's like, you know what? It is permanent, but you can always change it later.
Right.
So she went too deep on one of the wings on my back.
Oh, I know about that part.
Yeah. So she was going to fix it. And when she was working on it, I don't know what happened, and I had eaten, I've done all the right things. And I was like, nope, I'm going to vomit. And so she grabbed a bag. I did the vomit and whatever. So we're like, okay, let's just end that right now. But that was pretty much it. But she's still to this day is like afraid of my back.
Yeah, I know. We've had many conversations about your back.
No.
Well, she's very much a warrior. You know,
She's a perfectionist.
She is. And that's one thing I absolutely loved about her is, she took this process very seriously. I knew about the back situation, but she did not tell me that. But that's also that's her personality. She's not trying to embarrass anybody. She just wants you to come in, have a great experience. And, you know, she probably felt like if I told anybody every time they see Heather, they're going to be like, oh my God, she threw up.
But no.
We would never be like that.
No.
But I just, you know, I'm so sorry. That's
Oh no. I know I have a tightly wound nervous system anyway. So most likely it was just that and the feeling of, you know, going over the part. But I was like, it's not a big deal. Like
What was the issue? Is it like a technique issue? Like what happened?
She said color is hard to tell when you've packed it in enough.
Okay.
And it's a lighter color. So she was going over it the first time. And when I came back, she was like, oh, it all completely fell. She kind of knew that it was going to happen.
Yeah.
She was nervous that was going to happen at least. So I think it's just experience.
Okay.
Well, and two, I think, so when you work an area that's been worked previously, so cover-ups, any of that kind of stuff, when you start working in that area that's already been tattooed, it does hurt more. There's more pain there. So like I've had cover-ups done, and when they end up going over the areas that I've already had, it's like, oof, wow, that's a little spicy right there. So that could have definitely contributed to it.
Yeah.
So that's weird. I wouldn't expect you to
vomit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or to have any issues. You seem like a rock when you get tattooed.
How many do you have now? Heather, sorry.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
You can count each finger.
This was
11,
the worst.
12, 30, yeah, fingers are not for
My lips turned blue.
Yep, they are not
On
for the
the
weak of
finger?
heart. Fingers are not for the
Oh
faint.
man.
Oh my gosh. I had my wedding ring done and I was like, oh, it was terrible. There's a whole story behind that one too.
Vanessa, who used to work here, her husband has his knuckles done.
Yeah.
And I saw him and I was like, are those new? And he's like, yep. And they're staying like this.
Yeah.
He's never going back.
Yeah.
Like I did tell Taylor, I was like, I do want to fill this one back in because it like.
They do tend to fall out, and you use your hands for work. So that makes.
But I mean, look at them. They look good.
Yeah, they look amazing. She's a great tattooer.
I love her.
Yeah, I do too. I'm going to miss her.
She already told me I was her favorite.
I think she tells everybody that.
Stop.
No, she doesn't. She does. She's amazing. But anyway, let me tell you this story real quick.
Yeah.
This is a really funny story. So I go to Daytona. Again, my wife letting me do these weird things, right? So I'm in Daytona with my stepbrother and my really good friend Steve, and we're partake in the liquid a little too heavy.
Sure.
It was like our first day there, second day there. And I'm like, hey guys, let's go get tattoos, man. I'll pay for everybody's tattoos. And we have these, I don't even know where it is. We have this little group. There it is, Bike Sunday. So it's a group of friends that we get together once a year at the very least, and we go on a motorcycle ride. But the whole idea was we build bikes on Sundays. And, you know, I've spent some time in their garages building bikes on Sundays. So it's like this brotherhood thing. So I'm with my brothers, and I'm like, I will buy each of you the Bike Sunday tattoo, and I'm going to get my ring finger tattooed, and I'm going to get my wife's initials on my finger. And again, I was a little too heavy into the Crown Royal, and I gave the man the wrong initials.
No.
Oh. Yes. So my wife's middle name is Ann. My middle name is Matthew. So I'm drunk, and I'm like, KMH. In my head, her name is KMH. It's KAH. So I'm like, yeah, send it, man. I get this tattoo, and I'm like, I call her up. I'm like, oh, babe, I did something really cool. Like,
oh, no.
All for you.
I'm like, I love you so much. Look at this. And I take a picture, and I send it to her. She's like, you know, my middle initial is A, right? And I was like, you? Yeah, I do. Hold on. Let me call you back. I went to the guy. I said, bro, you got to help me out, man. He's like,
there's nothing
I can do for you, bro. I'm like, you serious? You can't turn the M into an A somehow? He's like, nah. Next. I was like, oh my gosh. Oh. So I went back to my hotel room. I didn't drink anymore that night. And I'm just digging, trying to get this thing out. I'm just like, it's got to go. And it's stuck. It stuck so well. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to learn what laser removal feels like. So I went through that whole process. And then I was like, you know what? Forget it. It's a funny joke. I've since have had it covered up with the dates and Roman numerals, but like that is like the most, that's the wildest thing I've ever had to experience.
Jeez,
and
man.
she's still my wife. So
yeah,
again, letting me just do these crazy things. She was not happy about the tattoo purchases because they really soaked. I think I spent like $1,000 in the shop. And she's like, really? You bought your friend's tattoos?
Yeah,
like, what were you thinking? And I'm like,
it wasn't me.
Crown Royal made my decisions that night. So
Listen, we've all had that conversation with the one who sees the numbers.
I don't want to have conversations. That was one I was just like, oh man, she's gonna leave me now. But yeah, she's still here. That's what I'm saying. She's so amazing. Like through that, and you know, she made us koozies. Mine says RAH, hers says KM. So it's like a big joke now in our family. Anyway,
go.
So, considering that you are the boss and you've got all these employees, and turnover in the artistic field is kind of big, right?
It is.
Yeah. And it's hard too when you, like, I know I've experienced that in shops before where I managed, where it's like you've got someone and there's like all these great things, but there's this one thing that's just, you can't keep it around. Has that been an issue a lot for you with your artists, or no? No,
I think I've been pretty lucky in that space, in that field. Like I haven't had heavy turnover. Mm-hmm. I think it's because of the way I treat them, you know, and I take care of them, you know, as far as money wise. I don't try and ever, you know, short them any. I think my character speaks enough to where people trust me. I've had several artists leave and they come back. Mm-hmm. You know, like Josh came back and Tyler came back and, you know, Jordan came back. They, you know, everybody's got to find out, you know, their own way that the grass is not always greener on the other side. And I love that my artists will say that to me now. They're like, the grass isn't always greener on the other side. People think it is. They think, you know, oh, I'm going to go over here and make a bunch more money. But there's a lot of other things that come along with that.
Yeah.
I have set up my studio in a way where the artists don't have to do much. You know, when I opened the studio, the idea was I found holes in other shops that I've been to, you know, customer service, personalities. You walk in, it's just rude. You know, when Carrie and I first decided to do the tattoo business, we visited all the shops here in town. And some of them were just wildly inappropriate. And one guy handed my wife a business card, and on the back of it had a monkey bending over with his butt cheeks spread with a butthole. And it said, "Pay me my effing money." I'm like, that's on your business card?
Wow.
To me, that is just wild. I'm like, you handed this to a female.
Sure.
And it was a pretty reputable shop in town here. I'm not going to say any names, but like I was just in awe, and I'm like, okay, that's check. That'll never happen.
Yeah.
So I tried to find some of the things, like artists, they want to be artists. They don't want to answer text messages. They don't want to answer emails. They don't want to answer the phone. They don't want to do any of that. They want to be an artist. So the way that I set up Dead Set was they could just do that. They come to work with their stencil and they're like, all right, I'm just going to tattoo, and then you go home. Like that's so I think the dynamic that I've put in place there is what's helped me to keep my artists in place, because Brandon, he started with me in 2017. He left for a while to do his own shop, but he's back now.
Yeah.
So I think I set up a good system for them.
And there's a culture in that as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And artists, they're very transient humans. So they tend to, wander off and they want to do their own thing. And, I've tried to find a way to circumvent that so that wasn't happening to me. I'm like, okay, how can I, back in the day, I used to be like, hey, what kind of soda do you like? I like Coke. I'd have a case of Coke in the fridge for you. Dr. Pepper. I'd have a case of Dr. Pepper for you. Like,
why are you looking at me?
I don't do that anymore. But I do, I supply snacks galore. So like they have soup.
I know. I've eaten a lot of candy at your place.
No, you should go in the back. The back is just
I feel like that's an invite to go in the back next time I'm there.
It's always people are always going back. I have customers. They're like, hey, do you mind if I grab a bag of chips or an oatmeal cream pie, or let me look and see what you have. I always switch it up. And it's kind of fun because I'll go to Sam's and I'll be like, I haven't done this ever. So I'll buy something and while they're not there, I'll load these bins up and they're like, oh my gosh, when did we get Nutty Butters? And I'm like, we've had those for a month, guys. You just haven't looked. So it's just, and they're there for so many hours sometimes. And, food's expensive. Let's be honest, and to order DoorDash and stuff like that, it's just,
I used Ralph as my DoorDash with one of my tattoos with Taylor.
I know. I remember that. That was pretty funny.
The things I do for these girls.
Popeyes.
He dropped it off. I was like, what are you doing here? He's like, oh, I'm just dropping off food for Heather. I was like, that's pretty all right.
Yep.
I like what you just said, the entire thing that you said, because I always feel some sort of way, because I run Little Lion Cuts exactly that way. And I think Heather can attest to this, where I want to work for somebody. I don't want to work for somebody that I wouldn't want to work for.
Right.
And I want them to also enjoy what they do. Like, I think we've created a culture here at Little Lion Cuts where they literally, sometimes we see it where they just come to work to hang.
Yeah.
Just to, we have appointments and we got to deal with this screaming kid and we got to do that stuff. But I honestly think that if they didn't like their conditions where they work, they wouldn't be here.
Right. They're not here for the paycheck.
Yeah.
They are. But,
they are.
But
they are.
They're absolutely. No, I get that. But there's that added piece. If it's a good environment for them, they do want to hang out. Like I have artists, sometimes they have no appointments and they just sit there all day.
I was going to say, there's plenty of times where after work, we're just sitting here and talking and hanging out.
Yeah, we do the same thing.
The only reason we leave is because we have things that are
dinner, those types of things.
Well, they've got families.
You have puppies.
I mean, we do shop beers every once in a while, and we'll just hang out and have a few beers and chop it up and talk about what we're going to do the next day or the weekend.
You want some margarita for your next one? I've got some in the fridge.
We got some margarita mix back there.
I got to do bees.
No, I meant for your next shop beer.
Oh, no, that's alcohol. Liquor. We don't do liquor.
Okay.
We just do the beers.
Okay.
We used to, there's been some incidences where we've had back in the day liquor and
it didn't go well.
Didn't turn out well.
No.
Didn't turn out well at all. So.
No.
Okay.
That's a whole nother story.
He doesn't really drink. And then I have 4 bottles of pre-mixed margarita for some reason. And I really don't drink that much. I just like having alcohol in case I go somewhere. And I'm like, here, I brought you this alcohol. I brought you
this big thing of margarita mix. Enjoy.
Exactly.
No, but getting back to it, I like everything you just said, because sometimes I do get in my own head about is this the norm? And no, it's not. I've heard plenty of people just that it's not the norm to work in an environment like that or work for someone that treats their staff like that. And I'm glad that you're doing it.
I'm not a big fan of being normal. I don't know what that even looks like, to be honest.
Yeah.
I do think about it. You know, I treat people as I want to be treated, you know? So if I treat the people that, you know, pay my bills well, they'll treat me well. And it's just this, you know, we scratch each other's back, you know, it's not an easy world to be in right now. Exactly. And if we can have this, I mean, we draw for a living. We color on people. Yeah. That's amazing.
It's
like,
fun.
It's a gift, honestly.
Yeah.
And if I can make that a little bit better for them, man, let's go.
We're here for it.
I'm not against that at all.
I love that, man.
Yeah.
I'm glad you have that.
Do you have a favorite style to do?
Color, anything color.
Anything
I love color. I love.
What's your favorite ink color?
Red.
Red?
Yep, I love red. Because when you pack red, it is just, it's amazing.
I was just looking at the one on your underarm. Is there like a Daredevil type thing, or not Daredevil? Something like right under here, under the bicep.
This one?
Oh, that one. The red on that actually really stuck out to me when you pulled it up earlier.
So Carrie and I kind of have this as a matching tattoo. So this is an image that we have in our bedroom. It's two sugar skulls. And back before we opened the studio, we both had our own artist that we always worked with. And we had this image, and we each went to our artist and said, do your own idea, like do your own rendition. My artist, male, more of a traditional guy, he did a lot of my color stuff. I expected to have something more like masculine. And I expected Carrie to have something more like the complete opposite.
Wow.
She got this crazy traditional piece on her shoulder, and I got this pretty
heart shaped.
Yes, like I'm like, okay, but that's our matching tattoo.
That's
and
awesome.
We just said to our artist, do your own thing, you know?
Yeah.
And they both came out the opposite of what we expected, which was kind of clutch. It was fun, you know? It was just like, okay, this is cool. So yeah.
You should show him this one. I'm not going to say what it is because you were like, I guessed what was really quickly.
This one?
What is it?
Yeah.
I can't.
We'll have to show it later.
Oh, okay.
It's an eagle head.
Okay.
But Jordan he bought this. Did I tell you this story? Jordan bought this ink, this color, and he's like, I don't know if I like that color. He said, can I freestyle something on you? And I was like, okay. So he just freestyle. There was no stencil. He just went with a tattoo machine.
I see it now.
And he's like, I hate that color. So people will be like, hey, you got something on your arm. I'm like, yeah, it's an eagle head. So yeah.
In a color that we don't use anymore.
He doesn't. He's like, I hate that color. I'm like, bro, I kind of like that. It's a nice little pinky. But I love color. Color to me is just. I have black and gray pieces on me, but I'm not drawn to those. Sure. You know, I'm not like, oh, I love this piece so much. Actually, my black and gray ones I probably dislike the most, but except for my mom's, of course. I've got my mom's portraits here.
Oh, beautiful!
And then I have Finn on my chest. Yeah,
hey, those portraits are nice.
These are old. I got these, man, probably 2010-ish.
Well, whoever did them did well.
So the guy that did these, I was looking everywhere for a portrait artist, and we were into the whole Ink Master show, and I'm like, you know what? These people are doing a great portrait. So there was this girl that did portraits on there, and I'm like, I'm gonna search her out. So I searched her out. She lived in Pennsylvania, and I'm like, I can't make sense flying to Pennsylvania to get a tattoo. People do it all the time now. Yeah. But back then I was like, it doesn't make sense. So I was talking to my cousin about it, and my cousin's like, hey, I know this guy. He is an amazing portrait person, and he tattoos. And I'm like, can he tattoo portraits? She's like, yeah, he can do anything. Like, all right. So I got a hold of him. He worked at this shop in Lake Villa. And I'm like, all right, Chris, I want you to do these tattoos on me. And so he stencils me, and we get going. I'm like, so how long you been tattooing, man? He's like, about 2 months. I'm like, you're about to put my mom's face on me, and you've been dead. And I was like, and he's like, yeah. And I built this machine in my basement. And I'm like, oh my God.
Okay.
I was like, what did I say? But I saw his charcoal drawings, and I'm like, these are absolutely stunning. If you see it, it's just, his charcoal drawings look like photographs. So I'm like, okay, how hard could it be to apply this in a tattoo machine? And he blew me out so bad. Like, That's why this is all shaded like this, because it just looked like I had a big bruise. And I'm like, oh God, Chris, like,
I gotcha.
But they have aged beautifully. Like,
they aged well.
I've got one on my chest here of Finn, and this did not age well. And this is the same guy that did all this stuff. And so you can see the difference. Like this one was 2014 when Finn was born. So this one's newer than these two.
Than those guys.
So it's yeah. So I do have some black. I love my mom's, and these are my favorite because when I'm riding my motorcycle, I can see them in my mirror.
I love that.
Yeah, they were beautiful women. Don't want to talk about my mom.
All right.
Have you seen a change in the way that people, I don't know, like get tattoos? Like, I know, like, I like picking off a flash sheet, but I don't want it to be just like a random flash sheet. Like when Taylor has her little flash sheets like this, and this one was a flash sheet. I like that because I like knowing already what I'm getting.
Right.
And she kind of has an idea of how long it'll take her in the beginning. So I already know how much around it's going to cost.
Right.
So do you see more people asking for very personalized tattoos or more like just flashy tattoos?
So the way Dead Set, the platform was set up, we are custom. Like everything we do is custom shop. You know, we do, if somebody comes in there like, hey, I have this Pinterest piece I want to get done. It means so much to me. You know, I want this infinity symbol. No offense to people that have infinity symbols, but like, you know, there's trends, right? There's trends that happen in the tattoo business. But what we see more of, because we are a custom shop studio, is people want them more personalized. Mm-hmm. So, for example, we had a lady come in the other day. She wanted to fit 10 pounds of stuff in a 5-pound bag. And we're just like, yeah, we can't do that, because she wanted every element of like the past 30 years of her life in this one tattoo, in this one spot. And we're just like, yeah, we can't do that. So we do get a lot of people, more and more people that want something more custom, something that's more suited to, like, you know, what their grandfather reminded them of, or, you know, their family. So most of our stuff that we do offer at Dead Set is all custom. We do, again, do flash stuff that, you know, the artists draw. They love doing their flash though, because it's their personality. Yes. So when you go to an artist and you say, hey, can I get some of your flash? You have no idea
how excited
the energy that gives them, because they're like, oh my gosh, I've been hanging on to, I've been wanting to do this for so long. Mm-hmm. And, you know, like Jordan has like this wall of bugs, and he's done all of those bugs, and he just loves to do the bugs, you know, because it's off of his dome, you know? Yeah. And so if I have any advice, do flash, you know, just find an artist that the styles kind of fit, you know, like your style with Taylor is just, they gel. So just find somebody that you really dig and ask them if they have flash, because you're going to get a much, much better piece.
Well, and that's how I see it as an artist myself. Like I want what you want to do. So like for my 30th birthday, I got a tattoo under here, and I showed him a couple things, and I was like, I kind of want, like, it was a Art Nouveau, Art Deco, like prints.
Yep.
And I was like, I kind of want something like this. And he's like, well, I really want to do that. So I was like, if that's the one you want to do, let's go and let's do it, because you're going to have more fun doing it.
Right.
And then in general, too, like when I go look at art, I'm like, oh, man, that guy, like, especially like my favorite Instagram tattoo people are ones that have their own style going on.
Yeah.
So for me, I'd rather, like, I want to be a gallery of art than have too many things that are like, I don't know. I just don't think of it in like, this is important to me and I want it like this. I did tell Taylor how to, like, what I wanted with this one, but like I gave her like a general idea.
And you give her free reign.
Yeah, I definitely give her free reign, because it's like, if you don't want to do it, or if you don't like that style, you're not going to do it really well.
Right.
So
it's just going to be par for the course. You know, you want him to go above that. You want him to, you know, knock it out of the park.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm saying, if you find an artist, you know, and that's the thing too with this industry, man, like what I've noticed since I've gotten into it, it's just the growth in the art spectrum, you know, in that piece of it, it is just blown up. You know, what these people can do with machines like Joey, the realism side is insane to me. And, you know, that's, again, if that's what you're looking for, that's what you got to go for. That you got to search that artist out. But the level of art is just gone through the roof.
Oh, totally.
You know, and I know like the ink masters and stuff like that, they really kind of hurt our business more than help, because clients will come in and they'll be like, so I'm looking to get this piece here. It should only take about an hour. And we're like, oh, okay. You know, I had a girl the other day asking me for a price quote. She's like, it's just a small dainty tattoo. And I'm like, well, I have this small dainty tattoo here. That took about 3 hours to do, 3.5 hours. It's small and dainty, but it's real. I don't know what you're looking for. Like people, the ink masters made everybody an expert.
Yeah.
And, you know, they just have zero clue, because I'm a very slow tattooer, whereas some of my they're very fast. You know, Taylor's pretty slow, but like Jordan and Tyler, fast. They're really, really fast. So like, it's not one set of rules for the whole industry.
That applies to us too, because like people come in and they're like, I want this braid, and it's like extensions, a braid that I don't even know how to do, and it's like, well, I can't do that. And they kind of give you this look like, what do you mean? You do
guys
hair.
do hair.
Well, I'm not interested in braiding, so
right. That's
well,
not but it's not your strength.
Yes.
It's not the strength.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd be like you'd be like you coming in and say, I want Taylor style work by somebody else.
Yes.
It's just not, you're not going to get the same results.
Exactly.
And that artist that's not their specialty. Just like braiding is not your specialty, you know?
How does pricing work? Everyone has their own pricing.
So we have just a general price platform.
Okay.
We have $100 minimum. You know, we won't even break a machine out for under $100.
Gotcha.
Because it's time, money, and supplies. Our supplies are not cheap. And then most artists are between $125 and $150 an hour. Some artists will say, "Hey, we'll do an all-day sit, you know, for this particular piece, and I'll charge you $800 or $1,000 or $1,200, whatever that looks like." So, for example, like Tyler's $1,200 for an entire day, and he'll work on you for 8 hours. And yeah, that's a lot. If you've never sat for that amount of time, I don't recommend it. It's not.
my sciatica can't take an 8-hour day.
Just a lot of people can't take the 8 hours. It's a lot. You're in your head. You're out of your head. You're just like, you feel like dying. You just like, oh my gosh, am I going to make this? It's just terrible.
Your skin screaming.
Yeah, but you'd be surprised how many people do it. It's just Tyler does it almost every day. It's just like, how do you do this? Like I've sat, I think 6 or 7 hours on the back of my leg was probably the longest. And I wanted to die when I was done. But anyway, so yeah, the pricing is also based on the artists themselves. You know, some of the artists will give you deals. So for example, Joey's doing portrait work. He just really wants to focus on portraits, and he's offering deals. He'll do $600 portrait, you know, decent sized portrait, which would normally anywhere else be $1,200.
Wow.
So they'll give you deals sometimes if you let them do their thing.
Yeah.
And I think that's great, you know, because then you're again allowing that artist to do their style. They're doing their thing, and you're getting a great price.
Yeah.
You know, and he's getting to do a great tattoo, and you know, just it's a win-win for both.
Oh yeah.
So, sorry, are you gonna? I know we have to wind down a little bit. I don't want to keep you too long from your bees.
My bees.
But like for someone like me, I don't really. Heather's a lot more versed in this world now. But like for someone maybe thinking about a first tattoo, how do we approach it? Even coming to your shop, like I know you don't want nobody wants that kind of person, the know-it-all type person who walks in and says, "Oh, it shouldn't cost that much," or something like that. How can we better approach this? Like we come in and what do we say?
I'm looking to get a tattoo.
Perfect. Let's start there.
And I'll say, do you have any idea what you want to do? And they're like, yeah, okay, I'm thinking this and thinking that. So then the best way to do that is just to start a conversation with me.
Okay.
And I will point you in the right direction.
Perfect.
I'm the gatekeeper. I handle all the clientele as far as that goes, you know, and if you come to me with an idea and you can show me kind of the direction you're looking to go,
Sure.
I will then start to have a conversation with you about the artist. So I'll say, so the piece you're looking to get done, I think, you know, Jordan might be a better fit for you. You like dark black, you're looking to get a dark black piece, so we'll go that route. And then what we'll do from that point is I'll set you up with a consultation with that artist. And what that does is it allows you to have a conversation. It also allows you to meet that person to see if that's a fit. You know, it just because they can do the tattoo doesn't mean
that you guys
want
will jive
to sit with that person
for 3 hours.
or however long. And so I have always been a strong believer in the consultation process, just because it opens up a conversation deeper than I want a tattoo.
Okay.
And that has worked for us
Perfect.
amazingly well, because, you know, that fear is already kind of broken now. You know, I've set you at ease. You know, I'm not a big scary guy. You know, they can have a conversation with me and not feel uncomfortable, and then I'll be like, okay, and I think this is a good fit for you over here, this person. And then, you know, I've actually had people say, I don't want to work with that artist. I didn't really catch a good energy off of them. And I'm like, that's perfectly fine. You know, the artists they get a little salty once in a while because it kind of, you know, it insults their personality a little bit. But that's humanity.
Yeah.
Like we click with people, and some people we don't click with. You know, I wouldn't want to have dinner with Ed Gein. You know what I mean? It's just he would make me uncomfortable. Well, maybe.
I would 100%.
What about Jeffrey Dahmer? You don't know what you're eating, you know. But
well, if they're not cooking, I will eat. Because with Ed Gein, I mean, the only thing you really have to worry about is his bowl your neighbor?
I think there's more to worry about than just that. But so, you know, I like to have that personal connection as well. And I like, you know, when I was getting tattooed and when I was working with this guy that did these, you know, he would really piss me off once in a while, because he's just like, just nonchalant. Oh, you know, I'm going to be an hour late. You could have let me know that an hour ago. Our appointment's right now. And then he'd be like, last minute, oh, I got to cancel. I don't really like, he's still a good friend of mine. He's tattooed at my shop. But I personally don't like that type of artist. I want somebody I walk in feeling like they put thought into my project, because again, I'm paying you $1,000 to change my body.
Yeah.
And I need to feel like we're on the same page.
Yes.
And, if a client comes up to me and they're like, hey, I didn't really feel that consultation. We have somebody else, you know, unless it's a really niche piece. I'll be, of course, we have somebody else you can talk to. So we try and make the process kind of painless for the client. We want them to feel not nervous or anxious. And, you know, we get a lot of people that come in very nervous and anxious. And that's my goal. My goal is to just shut that down. Yeah. Offer you a water, you know, some candy.
Some sertraline.
Yes, whatever you need. And it just whatever we got to do to make this process good for you. Sure. So that's my recommendation. And, you know, it's always a good idea to research your artists and your shops. So if you're looking to get a tattoo, I always tell people, find an artist that does that style and reach out to them and, you know, start that conversation. And if there's somebody on my side that you like, let's go. I'll set you up with a consultation and you guys can sit down and talk. It's important to match the art with the client. You know what I mean? Or the artist. Because like I wouldn't give Taylor anything that's full color, you know, that she doesn't enjoy that. That's not fun for her.
Well, that's like I was getting coffee and the person handing my coffee over was like, oh, where do you get your tattoos done? And I told them. And he's like, yeah, I want to get this Pokemon. And I was like, oh, well, I mean, they might have someone there that does Pokemon, but my girl does not do Pokemon.
No, she would be like, I don't want to do a Pokemon.
Yeah.
No. And I'd be like, baby, you don't have to do it. We can switch up the artist. It's okay. Yeah. But you just got to find the fit. You know what I mean? Cool. And that's, to me, that's all part of that consultation process.
And be open-minded.
That's a big one, man. Like
people want what they want where they want it.
Shush. Like we are the professionals. You came to us for a reason.
Yeah.
If you really thought that you had it all figured out, why aren't you buying a machine off of Amazon and just do it yourself?
Can I do that?
Yeah. Unfortunately, you can. You can buy everything off of Amazon. Everything.
I've heard.
Temu too.
Yeah. Well, you know, the gatekeeping in this. So I have a friend downtown. He works downtown, and his talk track with me all the time is gatekeeping. He's like, we need to gatekeep this industry. This industry is flooded with just nonsense. And I agree with that to a certain extent. You know, gatekeeping to a point of like keeping people out, I don't think that's fair. I think gatekeeping to a point where we have quality is fair.
And safety.
And safety is huge. And Amazon selling tattoo machines and needles and ink and all that is, to me, not
safe.
But the Amazon's making, they're in for the dollar. They're not, they don't give a rat's butt what that machine is used for once it leaves their warehouse.
Yeah, of course.
But when I first got into this, you couldn't buy machines on Amazon, and all the suppliers that we would buy our products from, you had to qualify. You had to prove that you were a shop. You had to say, here's my license. You had to prove. You had to be a licensed establishment.
Is there a license for tattooing too?
There's a license for the establishment, and then we have to have a license to actually tattoo, yeah. Okay. But Wisconsin's really kind of, they're not real good about it. I wish it was a little stricter. $60. You can tattoo anybody you want legally. I don't agree with that.
Do you have to do enough hours?
No. There's no qualifications.
Oh, you just go in and pay $60 and you get a light.
You don't go anywhere. You go online.
Well, yeah.
And just pay the $60 to the state, and now you're licensed.
Wow. You would think that they would need to be like blood.
Sure.
Because like with a hairstylist, we have to have like
for BBP.
Yeah. Get all this stuff done. Make sure we know what we're doing and what to do when certain things happen. What to look for skin issues.
Yeah. We don't have to do any of that, which is mind blowing to me.
Yeah.
And so our shop protocol, I make everybody do a BBP.
Yeah.
And you're doing it before you do anything. You're doing a BBP. I want you certified. We try and regulate it as much as we can within our little space. But like other states, like Virginia, for example, I think you have to log, I can't remember how many hours. It's an ungodly amount of hours before, and you have to prove it. It all has to be documented, and you have to go in front of a board and say, here's what I've done. I would like to get a license to tattoo or pierce. And they qualify you based on this history. And I think that's amazing. I think that it should be more like that everywhere. There's some states that they're just like, what license? There's no such thing.
Well, in Europe, there's no licensing for cosmetologists. Like you go to school, but you don't have to have a license. So I think the way that they do it is you have to have graduated, but you don't pay for a license afterwards. And there's a lot of talk about having that here. And originally I was thinking like, well, that just means like I'm going to make sure that someone's gone to school and goes through my training before I would hire them.
Right.
But with yours is complete, like yours is almost, you're scarring someone.
Right.
So it's surgery.
To me, and the same standards should fall into place. You guys, not to, it's important. Haircuts are great. But like, you guys cut hair, it grows back.
Yes.
You can cut people. I know that you have sharp instruments and stuff like that, but the hair grows back.
No, trust me, we feel the same way.
Yeah.
You guys are doing.
But if I'm tattooing you, I'm jamming ink into your skin and changing your makeup, and to just say, hey, give me $60. It's always been it's been mind blowing.
Well, that's like there's so many people who get so upset about the price of certain things like haircuts and tattoos or hair color. And hair color is a chemistry. Hair color requires the knowledge of like how the ratios and everything. But like you can burn someone's skin and take their hair out forever.
Yep.
You can any of the things that you do like perming, coloring, facials, all that stuff. And it like similarly, you can go on Amazon and buy all that stuff. You can go to Sally's and buy all that stuff, and you can hurt yourself. But that it's still way different from tattooing.
Yeah, you guys are doing. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think it should be a little more regulated, but that's not up to me.
But that speaks to the
Quality.
integrity and quality that you guys have over at the sitting, for sure.
Yeah, I think that our artists, they all feel kind of the same way. They don't want to go through all that rigmarole, but they also agree with it. They're like, I agree with the process that it should be handled a little bit differently. Yep. But and in the same breath, they're like, I'm not doing all that. I don't want to do all that. I ain't got time for that. I'm like, well, if we have to, we have to, guys. But yeah.
Well, man, thanks for coming out. Thanks for making time. I know we took you away from a busy Sunday. You got a lot going on.
Busy Sunday.
Yeah, I got a turkey on the smoker. I got bees going.
Oh, that's right. We didn't even talk about smoking meats. We we do have that in common.
It is a game changer. I put off smoking for so long. I'm like, I just don't have the time for it.
I haven't brought it back.
And I'm like, I use my smoker more than my grill.
I bet.
Because you can use a smoker as a grill, and we'll do burgers, chicken wings, chicken breast, and it is the best. It is the best way to eat food because you can't mess it up. You know, I'll throw burgers on there. I'll wait like 30 minutes to take them off, and they're like the juiciest, most amazing hamburgers you've ever had. You can bake cakes in a smoker. Like that sounds gross to me, but you can.
Yeah,
like
you can smoke cheese.
Yeah, I've done it.
Yeah,
I've done smoked cheese.
How does it not melt?
Well, you use like a block of cream cheese, and then you season it, and it infuses the smoke. It doesn't, and you do it on a really low.
It's more of an infusion.
than
actual cooking.
I know how to infuse things.
I think you put it at like a 180 temp or something. You just keep it on a real low temperature.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did a spatchcock turkey this morning, and that bad boy's gonna be done around 5 o'clock. So I've had a busy day, but
I bet
this has been a lot of fun, man. I've never done a podcast before.
Yay!
Well,
so
I'm glad we're your first, Ryan. Thank you, man.
Thank you so
Appreciate
much.
you guys.
Thanks to Carrie for lending us a little bit of
Thanks,
you.
Carrie.
I had to leave the supervisor at home.
Yeah,
man.
for sure.
So thank you
All right,
guys.
brother.
Appreciate it.
Let's go.
Well, that's a wrap for today's episode of Y'all Be Good. And as always, a reminder that we are a project of Little Lion Cuts. We hope you've enjoyed these stories just as much as we have enjoyed sharing them. Every family has a story, and we're just grateful that we get to hear yours too. If you've enjoyed today's episode and you think someone else might need to hear it, don't forget to share this podcast with them. And hey, while you're at it, be sure to subscribe and leave us a review. That really does go a long way. You definitely don't want to miss out on any of the real, raw, and inspiring conversations we've got lined up. And we'd love to hear your stories too. So go ahead and find us on Instagram at y'allbegoodpod or drop us a message with your thoughts. And until next time, y'all be good.